Hi Steve, lovely to meet up with you and do some further work on your game. Just a quick recap of a few key points that we covered during the session. These images that I've sort of freeze framed here, if you will, for the moment, sort of encapsulate what we covered during the session. We talked about how if things improved in regards to the loading and unloading of the wrists during the downswing, the arms would start to straighten up better through the ball as the radius was more consistent throughout. If we look at you early in the piece, obviously we've got the cane there to stop the arms drifting out as per previous sessions. In transition, rather than the wrists loading further from P4 to P5, the wrist would start to uncock too soon. The radius of the swing is therefore widening just a slight bit, potentially leading to contact being behind the golf ball, resulting in the dividing of the elbows to bring the club out of the ground. We tightened the radius. We had a little chat about the overall feel as per lacrosse, which you demonstrated beautifully, and I appreciate the video that you sent across post session. The movement that you were making in lacrosse was much more lower body driven. As the lower body moves forward and the arms start to work down, the wrists are not unhinged as fast. Still needs more work, but that ping sign behind has always been a good barometer for the amount of wrist hinge that you've maintained throughout the downswing. Release point is a little bit tighter, a little bit more onto the right leg. Controlling the low point of the golf club and allowing the arms to stay straighter on the way through, therefore hitting out for longer and controlling the closure on the club face. We then talked about your takeaway and how important the wrists were during this part of the move. And we can see here that if you unhinge, so we've asked you to make quite an exaggerated takeaway where the hands are coming in and the club is staying out in front of you. In order to do that, you really loaded the wrists early in the swing, and then you were asked to completely uncock the wrists. Now the club isn't at P2 anymore, so to take the club to P2 will result in the club getting moved behind. So as you add wrist hinge, that helps keep the club a little bit more out in front of the hands. So you've got two extreme examples there, as the wrist hinge or dump. P2 will happen at different stages. So they were at P2, very loaded wrist condition, and we then throw the wrist cock away and return to P2, so that's shaft parallel with the ground. We can see that the club and its relationship to the hands is very different. There's too much turning of the hips too soon. The right leg has to straighten excessively. The right hip works behind you far too deep, and then that results in that excessive drift out with the arms during the downswing. So when we're looking at the takeaway, particularly at P2, our reference point, we need to consider how the wrists are loading as well as accumulator 3, which is what we've worked on in the past. It's not just a case of pulling the hands in, it's a case of as the hands are working in, there's a little bit of rotation of the back of the left hand. If we can keep that to a minimum in regards to yourself, that really helps. And then also a loading of the wrist, which helps keep the club in front of us, as per the exaggerated move that you can see on the top right, rather than getting pushed in behind the hands. Good luck with it, and look forward to working with you in early July. Well done.